Get it right today. Hi guys, good morning. As you can tell from this my introduction there, I'm the lady hippie at the bar. Just gonna go where it wants to. It's gonna be one of those days. I don't even know what day of the month it is at this point. I quit looking. The only thing I've got forward to look for is Mother's Day, and I'm not sure what's going on with that with the kids. They might decide to do what they usually do and get mom a bunch of hurricanes and really good filet mignon. I like a place called Logan's Steakhouse. And they can make some hurricanes, I'll tell you what. Actually, I generally run in there early. My husband indulges me in that too. Actually, we do something similar for Halloween. We stop into our favorite Mexican restaurant here, well, over in Grovetown. It's an exit away. I don't, yeah. Anyway, they have these huge margaritas, and they like the because I always dress for Halloween. I don't care. You can probably put me in one of my Halloween gowns, and that's the way you can send me off to the next side because I love Halloween, and my husband's been really great about supporting that. He's pretty good, and my son is awesome. He's got an entire Jedi Knight outfit. So Star Wars fan. When I came back from Europe, you couldn't get it in Europe at the time. It was down for like 3 or 4 years. So I took my son. He was 5, I think, and we took a bunch of keggers in a van. It was different back then, and then we had people who could drive, of course. Even then, you tried to get you a sober driver. You didn't all want to spend the night in the hospital or what have you. Um, I took him to his first movie in an indoor movie theater when he was, I think, 3, and it was Dark Crystal with Tom Cruise. And my son still loves that movie. I was so shocked when a few years back he said something about it. I was like, "You remember that?" Because he was only 3, and he remembers it vividly. He could tell you the characters, everything. So I was shocked about that. And then we did the Star Wars thing, and we were catching up because, like I said, I had come in from Europe, and I came back to Fort Sam Houston first. So I went from Germany again back to Texas with my son, who had a passport when he was 6 weeks old. And I thankfully had been able to run into Rome and get him baptized by the Pope. And they give you a little medallion. Actually, it's not by the Pope; it's done for the Pope by other people. But it's nice to have had him baptized. I don't know if they've had the children baptized, and it's really not in my right to ask or say anything about that. I mean, and they're grown almost. My granddaughter is turning 12 and 42. And my eyes, of course, are still doing this. Oh, you can't put makeup on crap. So, one of those days. Mm. Uh, it's been a really good day. I will say that. I've seen where the IDF has uh, bought 40,000 tents to house those in Rafah in the Gaza Strip so that they'll be safe. It'd be designated a non-military zone. They won't hurt those, and they try not to hurt any civilians, irregardless of what you see. I have several podcasts that I check into that's boots on the ground. Iyer Pinto is one of my favorites. He's boots on the ground. That's his handle. You search and pick him up. Ask me about it. I'll throw it in on the comments. That's the other thing, guys. Besides it being for entertainment purposes only, and that's why I say so long. I crack myself up. But I would love it if everybody would at least take a second and we hippies, and I could name 20 that are in my own circle. Put down your city or your state, whichever you're more comfortable with. I'd like to know how far it's getting out and so forth and so on. I can see my birch is going to drive me crazy because it keeps sliding. I didn't put it. Usually I have my husband help me with those things. I forgot this morning because he was kind. I'm fidgeting. He was kind enough to make breakfast this morning for me, and I love that. He fusses at me about it a little bit. I don't blame him, but I do the cleanup because he did the cooking. And so you got all the cats inside. I love my guys. It's like they do this at the door at 7 a.m. If I'm not up before then, and I say, stop that. And I go, so I love that. So I know I'm up by 7, and they do too. I've got one cat down, my Tiger Rose. We don't understand what's going on. We're trying not to go to the vet if we can avoid it. Uh, Spending almost 280 last month. That's a punch in your fixed income. I really hate that term. My husband thinks I hate that term because I don't get to go shopping. He's probably right. So anyway, if you could please stick your state or your city, whatever you're comfortable with, if you could put those in a comment for me. I'm on live chat, but you can do this anytime. I just adore my guys, and I know that sometimes there's nobody able to see it live. Maybe on a Saturday or Sunday, but and I'm the same way as everybody else. I mean, if you had time off on Saturday, Sunday, which actually up until my 50s I did. You used to have to run and pay your bills, or at least write a check and make sure it got to the mailbox or to the post office in small towns. So Saturdays and Sundays were full of stuff to do. The whole house, the laundry, the kids, yeah, yeah. And get one of them to actually help you clean up. Oh, for God's sakes! You think you just asked them to step in a pile of dog poo or something? It was like, thank God they're grown and their own kids are not doing it to them. I warned them. May you have a child just like yourself. It worked. So actually, like I said, IDF is trying to get Rafa ready because they're coming. They've estimated between 4 to 5 battalions are in Rafa. And of course, they're not going to be in uniform. They're going to be in sandals and a burqa or whatever. It's not going to be easy to identify them unless they can do it with facial recognition with those drones. I don't know. I know they're going to have to hit it. You can't lead 4 to 5 divisions of Hamas behind your ass. You can't do that. You can, but there'd be a whole lot more Israelis dead within a few days. If they think that they can get through, they'll get through. Exactly what has happened to us here in the United States, for which the entire body of government should be impeached. They're traitors, they're treasonous, and it's been going on far too long, and now they're here. And if anybody is surprised if something else blows up, I want to come shake your hand because you can surprise me. Think what damage one person could do wearing Kevlar, several weapons, backup auto, and knows the place. How much damage could they possibly do in, say, 20 minutes? Think about it. At the mall, at the grocery store, the school bus. You wouldn't want to arm me like that. There's not a target I couldn't take out in 10 minutes. It's a lot of firepower they got ready at their fingertips. I wouldn't be surprised if Biden didn't give it to them. Yeah, that's what I think of it. They'll probably take it down there. Mm-mm-mm. It's criminal what these people have done to my country. It's treason. They're traitors. And then they're backing off that idea. They have the audacity to sit there and tell people they should have people running for office that can be voted on or for by the people. Mm-hmm. That's fun. That's fun. It's not the way it is here. And why is my country, mind you, I am a skinflint, I'll give you that. But I cannot understand why my country gives out billions of dollars to Hamas for decades. And they know this now. They know this. They're still saying this stuff. Yeah, and this is billions of dollars. Did anybody ask me if I wanted to fund a terrorist organization to build a metro tunnel beneath the Gaza Strip? Anybody? Yeah, none of us, right? We didn't say, hey, look here, let's do this. No, we did do that. And if we had done that, it would have never happened. They passed the package for the Ukraine, and I feel for the Ukrainians. I really do. But I fear for the homeless in my own country. I fear of the people that they've let in with no resource of finding out who they are, no checks, balances, none of that. Where they go on to recommit crimes, and when they finally catch up to them, they find out they've been in jail 9, 10 times for the same offense, like torture, rape, and murder. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I think it's time to go ahead and call in the big guns to say, look, you murder in our country. We don't care where you're from. Guadalajara, it don't matter. You're dead. You're on the fast track to the needles. And that's nice. You just go sleep. That's nice. It's a lot better than you gave your victims. And I'm not talking about just the victims in Israel. I'm talking about the victims in America along the southern border. I don't know if anybody has any idea how big that is, but it's over 700 some odd miles. I'll give you that. Look it up. I've been one of those visits today. So I saw that. I saw Yair Pinto. And again, it's Yair Pinto, like Pinto bean. You can look for yourself. The guy's really good, and he's a sweetheart. Really, he is. And he was right in the thick of it in the first 3 months that I'm aware of. But he would take time to my eyes to do whatever was needed to do the reporting from the boots on the ground. So now they have their own, I guess you would call it almost a podcast. It's wonderful, though. It is really wonderful. I stay abreast of what's going on in Europe, and this is people. This is the thing I had with these kids, and they had a problem because the police finally went in there and started chucking their ass in a police van. What the hell they were waiting for? I don't know. That's illegal as hell. And these kids are stuck inside their rooms because it sounds like these guys are going to kill them because they're Israel, Jewish. And for me, I always think Israel because they were 13 tribes. God got mad, swallowed one out, so 12 tribes, and they got hit. And they had Judah and they had Israel, two kings, state or country by then. And nobody ever found them. And I read a book, well, I can't find it now, and I have the book, but it was how they traced biblically, kind of, sort of. It was the organization that did it. And Denmark means Mark of Dan, tribe. Dan is the tribe of Israel. So it was things like this. And I thought, why haven't they gone home? And then I see what's going on. I can't blame them. The other thing I don't get is Hamas, and the Palestinians, and the Iranians, are saying, are being held and under attack and murdered and slaughtered. These guys do everything they can not to hurt a soul. They actively protect the Golden Dome. They protect it. They could chunk a couple of sticks of dynamite in there, a grenade, and a rocket launcher, old school, and just blow that shit to pieces. Yeah, hit us again. If you don't give us the hostages, the dome's gone. I mean, they could do that. They really could. They don't. It's holy. It's where they think third temple shall be built, but they still protect a holy place because it's holy to other people, and yet they are not given credit for any of that. They're not given credit for the fact that they start a war, but they have to finish it. They have to. These guys aren't going to stop, and they train these kids. It's just like the Germans. Sorry, don't hate me. I like the Jewish, but they indoctrinate them. same as they did with Germany. I couldn't almost, if it weren't for the deaths that occurred, blame Germany, because after they lost World War One, they took nearly everything they had and just dropped them all into nothing. And these people, you know, they suffered a lot for that. And this is why, when somebody was strong enough to take the reins, i.e., Hitler, uh, and he was a great orator, from what I understand. I thought he was a nutbag, but so quite a few other people, to their credit. Schindler's List is a movie I cried like throughout the movie. I've done a lot of research on it. My adopted father was World War II Navy, and so was his brothers. They had all gone in the Navy. It was like the Sullivans. There were 5 Sullivans that went. They were all stationed on the same ship. The ship went down, and the last Sullivan brother was last seen after hanging on the raft that they had made it out with, swimming off, yelling for his brothers. And they never saw him again. So they said, no, no, we wouldn't do this anymore. But my own father was the same way. Uh, they were in the same place. And so he saw his brothers killed horrifically before him. And he never forgave. We didn't want a war. We didn't look for a war. And they attacked us. And the same thing is true right now. In case these college students can't figure that out, please look that up for them on Google. But that's exactly what happened. On October 7th is a good place to start. After our 9/11, they hadn't had as many casualties, but the casualties they had were so much more horrific and took so much longer to die. This was instant in 9/11. It should never have happened, and I got some conspiracy notes on that. If you want to know, hit the stream, hit the comment later, and we'll go over that one too. Like Building 7 coming down. Why would Building 7 come down? We know. Oh, I'm fussing again. I like the little necklace that my husband bought me, and I forget that everything is backwards to what the screen has. That's what you see. I'll try again later. But yeah, so World War II is still, we still have World War II survivors. We still have got help the concentration camp survivors. And believe it or not, many were killed that day on October 7th. These guys suffered through horrors that nobody can understand. Even if you're in the middle of them, you can't understand that kind of man's inhumanity to mankind. To treat them lower than a piece of dog crap and work them to damn death. I mean, these people were literally walking skeletons, the few that were left alive. I'm still angry at America because, yeah, they had it rough on both ends. I give them that. South Pacific was a lot of trouble. Japan. You wouldn't think Japan could cause so much trouble. They caused a lot of trouble. I don't think they deserve 2 nuclear weapons. I think the first one did the job rather well. It's an island, but yeah, just pop one out there, make sure. I don't agree with that policy. I don't agree with you putting somebody in charge of. Let's go with this. You know what the Iraq, Babylon of old. Let's go to Iraq. Changed these in the 70s. Persia changed to Iran. Babylon changed to Iraq. Don't ask me why. I didn't get that far. Didn't care at the time. These guys were poor. They had like sand. So suddenly, we have places like Dubai. Have you seen Dubai? Such a beautiful place. And you have Iraq also was becoming beautiful, restoring like Nineveh and other places from 6,000 years ago or more that they had found. Like Henry Layard had found Nineveh, which, by the way, what was it? ISIS uh, put plenty of explosives around and blew it to smithereens. It only lasted 10, 12,000 years. So it's only their country. What can you say? What is wrong with people? It's crazy. It's a crazy world. If I say now, the world's on fire. Um, every morning when I get up, I'd like to watch the sunrise if I get a chance. Most of the time, I'm too busy lately. Sometimes I just make the time because I don't know what's going to be for the next morning. Will you be still sitting there having coffee and watching the sunrise with the kittens? There's 5 new kittens. Yeah, but what we have tomorrow? Because I think there's going to be a big problem coming right around the corner. They're not going to tell the civilians. They never do. That's why they have DUMBs. Deep underground military bunker. Yeah, we shortened it to the letters. So again, I need you guys, please, if you have put down where you're from, that's awesome. Would you maybe perhaps take the time to hit a like for me? My algorithms rise, but then they'll fall, and I'm not sure what that's about. I'm new at this. I may never get this right, but I'm trying. It's social Woodstock. I really, really, really need the hippies. They call us baby boomers because most of us were born in the 50s. I'm right at the end of the 50s. And truthfully, I just pretend that I'm 24. So these cameras were more like in the 70s. That almost would have caught on. Nowadays, it's like, really? That's what you're going to go with? I do have fun up here. I don't even know why. Um, I guess it's because I know I have a few. Um, and I can't tell them how much I appreciate them. I never get back some days for days to do any editing and checking that because, like I said, my algorithms go up and down. Apparently, I like crying into a tissue every time I try to put my glasses on. So I'm basically almost talking blind. Thank God it's a bar. Love the bar. And my husband I need him to make us some margaritas. But we already have Mother's Day coming up. I love Mother's Day. um, I like Father's Day too because he's not happy with his and he just donates it or whatever. Kind of funny, uh, but it's good to be around still. I never thought I'd hang around till I was almost 65. I would say 65, but I've got till August, so I'm going to go with 64. And what is it? The other news I had was, yeah, the Iranian and the IDF thing, and they're still wanting to trade like 1,700 of the prisoners for murder and so forth in the Israeli jails back to them and repatriate them back to Hamas, and they'll give them 20 hostages or something. Jesus, Jesus. I mean, what? And everybody's going, "Oh yeah, good. That's a good one." No, it's not. No, it's not. I had hoped, and I hate to say that, but I had hoped that they were having to go house to house, apartment complex or apartment clubs. I kept thinking about World War II, and they had to do that. And my cousins had to do that, had to go village to village. They weren't now. This is a horrific way to fight. Um, the IDF is trying not to hit the civilians. We tried not to hit the civilians, so they wired the kids and sent them over for a candy bar, and then blew them up. So I mean, well, they set the Iraqi president up, Saddam Hussein, so that he's running around there, and he makes it for what 5, 10 years. I don't remember. They find him in a hole, picking nits out of his beard. They had put him in power. President George W. Bush's father, who was president before him, and the head of the CIA before that. So 25 years before they got the guy out of the hole, Saddam Hussein, they had put him in power. So for 25 years, it was okay. They put him there. And then they decided they didn't want him there. So they hunted him down and hung him. This is not a military. What the hell? This is an assassin. And I keep saying this, although with ISIS, I wanted them eradicated. I want Hamas eradicated, but I'm talking about people who are evil. Just there's no other way to describe it. It has to be evil. I can't find in my head, and even then, it's not a good enough term. If you can beat the Nazis in your atrocities and murdering sprees, there's a problem. They have to be allowed. The IDF needs to be backed on this to go in to Rafah to get the other 4 or 5 battalions of Hamas. I believe that's what America did when they went after the Iraqi president, took Iraq. Okay, and they kept it for a while. What was that purpose? What was the purpose of attacking Afghanistan? And the Afghanis on the plane on 9/11. I don't recall them shooting at us or taking out planes and RPGs or anything like that. But we stayed there for 20 years as well. But they did give him Bergram Air Force Base, the whole base, equipped with Black Hawks, stacks of money from different denominations of the countries, especially the U.S. Yeah, Biden did real well with that one, didn't he? Yeah, they needed to have that Air Force Base. Somebody shoot him as the traitor he is, and don't give him a blindfold or a cigarette. Don't deserve it. I'm sure they ain't gonna like me saying that either. The guy's 81, retired. Quit sending your doubles out there. They look just stupider than you do. Like we can't tell the difference. If we were a facial recognition camera, we'd all be going, look, see, that's not the same guy, don't you? So there's not much to talk about with politics for me. It's always, you know, uh, Dan said, when, and I think I forgot to add that in, when he started getting the taxes, he said that the mob hung up their Tommy guns, put on ties, and went to D.C. He was never writer in his life. I mean, the man hit that nail on the head. And congrats, by the way. But in any event, so I can't really think of anything I can refer to other than I don't think there's been any more earthquake tremors in California. Turkey, too, seems to be recovering. There was another volcano that had gone off in Italy. And for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the darn volcano. Vesuvius always comes to mind to me. I got to actually go through there, and it was horrifying. I don't recommend that. I really, I think it's better now. But when you're walking past bodies in casts, they were empty because they had been killed by the Lahar, but still, they're you could pour the plaster in there. They were, and you're walking past men, women, children's bodies in these casts, although they're not really there, but still, it's. I didn't find that. I had to leave. I found it absolutely upsetting and unsettling. It was almost as if they had defamed these people, and I didn't like it at all. So I ended up leaving. I couldn't do it. I was like, I just can't. It's just wrong. Same with, I went to see only a few things. What is, I think, I can't quite remember. Maybe I'll put it in later. But you could smell the concentration camp long before you got there. Long before you got there. It was just, it was as if the very earth was permeated with the smell of death. And after I was still a young woman then, but and no, I had been out killing people, but I was trained and I was had been in the military for a little while then, and nobody else seemed to either notice or not saying it because everybody was just talking away, and I went with friends and they were talking to each other, and I was, trying to. I had a handkerchief and I was trying to breathe through that. And finally, one of my friends said, "You okay? You got sinus problem? What's going on?" Kind of thing. And I was like, "I can't stand it. It's going to make me cry. Uh, can't you smell the stench?" And she said, "Oh yeah, there's something off, like burnt or something." I said, "Really? I gotta tell you, really? How long did they cremate people there? How many people were cremated there? Look it up. Ask me. I'll put it in the comments. Go on up to the website. I still say that everybody should go through the DC's monument of uh, the Holocaust. And I mean, you see a room full of glasses, a room full of shoes, a room full of baby shoes. And still people go, oh no, that never happened. Okay. You shave your head, stick a number on your hand, put you in these pretty little striped pajamas, and stick you in a little wooden slat in the middle of winter. You don't get a coat, you don't get shoes, unless you can find some if you're lucky. We'll put you on the work team. Now, what about that? Sounds good. I mean, really? This is the same conversation I have almost every day I get up here. Where the hell are the parents on these kids? They finally started arresting them and throwing them in. They would do it fast enough for me. I'd have peppered them. I had a tased them. I'll take you home. Where are the parents? The staff faculty goes, oh, it's just the staff. I don't see their ass out there either. It has to be stopped. And Israel has the same problem. They can't leave Rafah the way it is. There's almost maybe over 5 battalions there. Look it up if you don't know what a battalion is. 5 companies. How many are in a company? It's a lot of people. And they're not going to fight where you know they are fighting. They're going to be doing like we did when we took the country off of England. And we knew what was going on. We had the places. They didn't know this land, but you could almost call them terrorists. We call them patriots. Palestinians, a lot of them think that this is a fair deal, that they're being slaughtered for no reason, and Hamas is their hero. There's no propaganda for that. Unfortunately, if they do, and I'm sure they will, raid Rafah, even if they get every one of ISIS, all the ones in Hamas, you got Hezbollah, Houthis, whatever they are. It's a funny name. The next generation has already been taught. And the third generation has been brought up on it, even in their school books. So you have, even if you get, this is what bothers me about all this, even if you could bring it down, the kids that are coming up saying, I mean, they're already one generation that's been training. So it's a 16 to 20-year-old coming behind the 30-year-old they sent already that didn't make it, maybe. And below them are their kids who've been indoctrinated since first grade, kindergarten. I'm not sure when they start them, but it's young, 4 or 5 years old. So by the time they're 10, they know how an RPG works. They know how to get around the city. So you get one generation, and you get 2 generations coming to kill you. Still, I can't see that as changing. I really can't. I wish I could, but I don't see it. The other thing people are not seeing, well, some are. Um, like New York, the businesses have just kind of left. There are skyscrapers that are empty. People are tagging them, riding on it with paint way up, 20, 30 stories up. There's glass panes missing. And this isn't just there. It's many cities after what happened in 2020. Um, there's iron gates around the United States White House. Took my kid there. Wasn't any fences there. You know, I mean, think about that. Is America really still America? I used to say we were Chinese because they they didn't give us all the money and we bought everything of theirs. Didn't say America's in China. Still does. So, I mean, at what point does Americans stand up and go, okay, they've gone this far and they done went 15 miles further down the road, so they're supposed to this far, no further. So you need to get those that went 15 miles down the road, bring them back here, and then get them out of the country until they come legally. They don't even know how many terrorists came through here, but I guarantee you some did. Even if it was only one. That's why I asked you to think in your head, how many people could be taken out by one person? Or say one person that has had training to be a soldier. How many? Could they get around 1,500? Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. People didn't remember the 88 bombing of the barracks, which I think 220 people were killed, soldiers were killed in Germany. I can't remember. They took up to Wiesbaden, that's a burn unit. It's been 80, it was in 88. But this has happened before, and people have forgotten that we had hostages that were taken from a plane. They were hijacked, and they shot the pilot, threw him out the window, things like that. Yeah. You know who did that? Anybody? Oh wait. Who did that? Think about that. Who did that? Oh yeah, it was the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization. PLO, first terrorist. Shot the pilot through about what? Let's give him a seat on NATO. Um, I want to see my hippies come up here and talk to me. I need to know I'm not the only idiot that's up here. Uh, looks like maybe Princess Kate, Catherine, Prince William's beautiful wife, and mother to his beautiful three children, may have turned the corner on cancer. I pray she did. It would break my heart to see that she didn't. And I had an idea that's what had happened to her because it was gone dark. And there's very few things that the royal family will go dark on. But a health problem, yeah, especially cancer, because it sounds like the chemo took her hair and so forth. I won't do it. Sometimes it works. I'm praying every day for her. She's one of the most beautiful, composed person with utter class, yet humility. And the only other woman I can think of that was like that in recent history would be her deceased mother-in-law, Diana. Uh, so that's been good to see. And then to have this, well, I didn't bother me so much about Charles. He's in the 70s. But a mother of three, even if she wasn't a princess. Um, yeah, that was rough. And it's still rough to go and watch every day to see if there's anything put out there because I don't think she should be bothered at all. But they do release things from the family. We'll go ahead and put out something together, whatever it is. So it's good to see that she's got a good team working with her. See if we've covered just about all of that nowadays. It's just like, oh, did you get the volcano? Did you get the earthquake? Did you get this? I love the snatch and grab until that, like New York, there's no stores. They left. And I think they took it for 2 or 3 years, and finally they left. One of my souvenirs from Savannah. I love this cup. Cost enough. So Savannah, they saw us coming. So I think I call that current events. I call it current events. That's what it is. I'm also saying we are social Woodstock because we can be, we are, and we should be. We should be sitting here. There are a lot of people who do podcasts I've found. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to try it because I wanted to see uh, we hippies basically come back and talk. Not about, so and so on the basketball team, so and so on the football team, this guy over here with the hip hop. No, it's not what is going on in the world only. It's what's going on in the world. I don't want to do, I'm not the view. Because those are some racist old ladies, okay? And I can put many things in here if you want me to justify that saying. I'll be happy to do so. I dare you ask me. I don't know why they're still watched or who they're being watched by, but I certainly wouldn't want to know that person ever, ever. The most opinionated Karens I've ever seen. Oh, I'm a star. Well, Whoopi, you ain't put shit out since what? Star Trek with the big hat, and being a star or a former star, as you and Joe Behar and a few of the others are, doesn't give you the right to say you're right and everybody else is wrong. Why do people come on your podcast? It is the stupidest move they could ever make because you don't want to talk about anything to them. You want to belittle them. You want to bring them down. You want to show that they're this or that. You're not a show. You're an attack dog. And that's not where I'll leave that one. I'm like Candace Owens. You can only do so much against idiots. and somebody's watching, and people are going on the show. Hi, I'm here for you to belittle me and make fun of me right to my face, and they do. I'll see clips of it. I can't sit through the whole thing. It's just one. I can't sit through that. I don't know what makes an 80-year-old person get up and say, "Well, I got to get on TV and insult 5 million people at least in the first 10 minutes." But Joy being her, she manages that fairly well. I'm a stubborn woman. I'm up here every day, and I don't steal videos. Anybody wants to see stuff, say the paranormal, whatever, they've probably already seen it. It's YouTube. When I wanted to start the podcast, and I've been able to do that because my husband bought me for Christmas a lovely set. He got me the golden light with the boom, which is what I wanted, and my son got me a set as well for Christmas. So I have the setup to interview. I don't, however, have the clout to bring people in yet. Yet, I think if you ask them they're close or whatever, they might come in. They might not. It's not what I really wanted the channel to be about. I wanted it to be about social Woodstock. Talk about the things like they're putting the code, the little kind of thing. It's like the barcode, but it has all your information. You can open your front door, you can open your car, you can pay for your groceries, and it's in their hand. Where's everybody going? Huh? Last I heard, they put it there. It was supposed to be pretty evil. Like, don't do that. God said, don't do that. Did nobody read the Bible, or they just think they know the Bible because the preacher said something for an hour? That doesn't mean they know the Bible either. Because I've argued with they don't like me. They never like me because I'm right. They go look up that passage and they go, okay, oh yeah, it's there. They have to admit they're wrong. It's a very unusual person that knows what the King James Bible is, what they took out when they put it together. What King James? What Bible was before that? Was there a Bible before that? Why did they take so many of the Dead Sea Scrolls and hide them? Yeah, they're having a lot of trouble reconditioning, and I'm surprised. Same with Nagamati. The cuneiform is another one. And there are people that have trained, and they can speak it. They may not be able to speak, but they can translate it. And the flood myth is not a myth. There was a flood. There was a worldwide flood. Um, we got people now suddenly are saying, "Well, we got ET here," and this were people who were prime ministers. They were the people in charge of the military or so forth and so on, testifying before Congress. Oh yeah, those guys, they're real. Don't tell the people because the people might panic. I didn't see anybody blink. One of the funniest, I think, that was released, well, not funny per se, but that was released by some Navy pilots footage. And I loved hearing the one pilot go, "Look at that thing, look at that thing." The other guys are chuckling. "Yeah, we see it, dude, we see it." Because he had painted it. He had it in his radar where he could shoot. And he kept saying, "Look at that thing, look at that thing." But they didn't shoot. I'm glad they didn't because they'd be dead. Uh, this is where this technology has come from. They didn't just come up from horse and buggy standing up there on the moon and wanted to only go a couple times because they were told to get their ass off. Yeah, they say it was that great dust got everywhere, so they couldn't go up there and build a whatever to mine the minerals supposedly on the moon. That was the whole day. That was the idea back then. And this and yet they still come up with any excuses as to why they didn't go back to the moon. And they have radio people, and they recorded what they heard in many cases. This, like the International Space Station, they're redoctoring those pictures all the time. It freaked me out as I found out that Mars isn't orange anymore. I thought that was wicked. Yeah, it looks like it's becoming a thin atmosphere. and it's blue and green like our own planet. Now, maybe it's much, but it seems to be recovering. And I wondered about that. Why do they want to go to Mars? Why did they doctor the pictures so they were? It was always orange and lifeless. The people that see cities in Mars on Mars, the face looking up at you, is definitely it's so Egyptian. You can't miss it. You can't miss the fact that the city is pyramidal city. Um, it's like I don't. What are they hiding? There's a lot to hide because now that they've come forward and said, okay, these things are real, and this has been 75 years at least, and yet it didn't raise an eyebrow on anybody. They already knew it was real. They knew it was real. Most of them don't say the shit. Tough. No, I don't believe it. There was a reason they went with the idea. Maybe it's part of the treaty. You could take so many humans and experiment them, but make sure we get the ID. We want to know who was taking. That can't. You can't break this shit up. You just can't. Mm. That coffee is great this morning. My husband buys me Irish cream, so I love my Irish coffee. I don't have my Irish coffee every morning, but I also buy the French vanilla, not the other off brands. Get the carnation. That stuff's terrible. Oh. Mm. And usually this cup will keep it semi warm for me in between because my time is about out. And my husband has stuff to do, so I have to get off his bar. He won't rush me, but I'll have to get there. Uh, I've managed to yap out about very little this morning. I cannot stand makeup sometimes. Um, Yucks. Well, there's a lot of questions about all that stuff, and I want to have Woodstock. I know we have hippies. Oh, they might be called baby boomers, and they may in some cases equate hippie with they're so screwed up on drugs. No, that's not the case actually. In the hippies that I've met, because we're all grandparents, we're all in our 60s, maybe early 70s. All I wanted was just to get back and show us a peaceful gathering. You could talk about anything you want, anytime, everything you want to talk about. You could talk about. I have live chat. I do a live stream every morning between 10 and 12. And you're more than welcome to come and talk to me live. Or you can wait and do it in the comments, and we can still talk back and forth about any subject. And believe me, there are a lot of doom and subjects around lately. Just not too many you can talk about on the air like that. Even though I do make sure it's 18 above. Um, let's see, what was it? Oh yeah. Uh, or it seems like that a lot of things are ticking the boxes as to what revolution states will happen and what Yeshua Bahusuf, Jesus Christ, said would happen. A lot of that's happened already. Uh, and now, what is the best way to take a country out? Anybody? I got time. Yeah, from within. From within. Uh, and just the way we gather, it's just the way they gathered at the Negev Desert that the Israelis were at for a rave, and they died for no reason, nearly horrifically. And we're all still saying in these whoop-to-do colleges and whatever universities, I don't care what moniker they've got, they're idiots. And these kids should not be out there spewing hate. And why are they protecting the ones who want people dead, or as they say, unalived? Why aren't they protecting the ones who they're saying this and making their lives a target? They're not up there going, hey, these guys are students, leave them alone, which we would have done in my day. And I believe that even today. The hippies are out here, and we're out here to say, don't do that. I'm not afraid. I was just too busy for 40 years to continue to stand up and tell the government and religious people, well, I'll say organizations, Scientology. Has anybody read an L. Ron Hubbard book? He just rambles on and rambles on. He gets this 800-page book, makes no damn sense. And somehow they built a religion around this, wanting the government to accept the fact that they're a religion. They're nuts. They're just nuts. But they don't have to pay taxes no more because they're a religion. I dare you, anybody, go get the book, pull it up online. I don't care. Read one of his books. L. Ron Hubbard. I have one here. Worst author I've ever tried to read. And that's saying something because I was reading college level at 8 or 9 years old. And that was my go to. You know, I don't care if it was the Bible, the dictionary, the encyclopedia, whatever. If the house was clean, the dishes were done, whatever, and I had some time, I had my face on book back in the days. Nowadays, I love Google for that. Although you do have to be careful. There's just too much going on in the world right now for nobody to be standing up and going, hey, what the hell? Hi. Don't do that. Don't do that. But it seems the only people that can tell no is the Israelis who are defending themselves in their country. Does anybody, including these idiot students that are protesting, know that Israel provided free water, free power, free gas? They worked in Israel itself, or that the Israelites are still protecting the Golden Dome, which they could have blown up at any time. They're still protecting it. 350 bombs are coming their way, and they're still protecting the Golden Dome of the Rock. You talk about that, any? Are you just what the hell are you talking about? What are you protesting? What are you protesting? The fact that they are defending themselves, that they are defending the holy sites, that they are providing hundreds of trucks a day of food and aid for the people that are being taken by Hamas, that they have gotten 40,000 tents set up so that the ruffians can go at least be safe there while they take out a cancer that is wanting to kill all of them. And when they get done with them, it's global jihad. And for those of you who still haven't figured that out, we are called infidels. Nobody remembers when they had Daniel Purr, the reporter. I can't remember who he was reporting for. And it was ISIS who was beheading them and have stand in their orange and then on their knees and was beheading them on live TV. Does nobody remember this shit? Now you figure, oh, that's America. Nobody, 9/11 didn't teach y'all a lesson. And I got some questions about that shit. That's a good subject to work on. If you want some advice from me about that, look up what the engineers are saying about the buildings that were hit by the planes on 9/11. Guarantee you're going to have some questions when you get done. The other series I like to recommend is the Left Behind series. I think there's 28 books with Tim LaHaye and the other boy escapes me. In any event, it's the best set of books I've ever read. It's like Revelation has come alive, and in these 28 books, it takes you through what happens in our world as it is today, and do it so well that I actually own all the books. It's that good. If you want to know too, there's two movies. If you don't really have time for the reading, there's two Left Behind movies. Can't remember. I think Nicolas Cage is in one. But yeah, read the books. You know, read the first one at least if you can. If not, watch the movie because I don't see how we're missing it right now. It's they say it's art imitating life, and for me, science fiction has always had it first, and then the world catches up. Star Trek was using tablets in the 80s, in the Star Trek New Generation 90s. They were using tablets. We didn't get tablets until sometime here in the 21st century, but they were using them. Cell phones, flip them. That was the old. original Star Trek, which they were very funny about. One time they came in and they were shaving with them. Funny guys. And we still have one of them left. So, yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff we could talk about. Uh, the ETs at the mall, I looked into that footage. I went frame by frame on some of them, I enlarged them. Uh, and they definitely had camouflage of some type. One of them looked over a backyard fence and somebody was filming everybody coming out. I think they live by this mall. In any event, you could see this 10-foot creature, 8 foot maybe. It's way over the fence and it just leans over and is listening to these people talk about it. So, do you really think that this happened? Do you think they hit the mall and there was ETs, 8, 9 foot tall? Anybody? Oh, you bet your bippies I believe it. I saw it. I mean, I saw it. And whoever was going through this, they did great and isolated that footage and saying, look here, it blocks out this and it does that. You can see it. Uh, but it's like too dark to really, for them maybe to have seen it because they're in the dark. So yeah, something went on there. I forget what they said. The police said about it, but they ran out there. The entire police force ran out to the mall because there was some problem. I don't remember what they said now, but all these guys, and it's actually, I think it was the police, the sheriff, and all that, and from neighboring counties too. There was such a massive police presence there that I thought there was a live shooter. You know, you don't see that many officers at any site unless there's some shit going down. So it wasn't something simple. I forget what they said, but you don't have 500 cops in one place, and that's not even exaggerating. I mean, there was cops that were everywhere around the law, and they couldn't have been just from Miami-Dade County. This is Miami, so it would have been Dade County that responded. So I believe that, like I said, 3 or 4 other counties sent sheriffs and so forth down there. I ain't seen so many cops since Waco. I mean, but nothing going on there. Nothing to see here, folks. Reminds me of that Star Wars there when they're in the little flyer and him and Luke and Obi-Wan and says, these aren't the people you're looking for. Go on. They run on. The other thing I think is about the moon when they dropped down, they rang like a bell for like 40 minutes. I was like, the first thing that hit my conscious thought was that scene in Star Wars where they're coming up and they supposed to be a moon and the guys go, "Oh, that's not a moon." So yeah, that makes sense on our moon. The Aborigines used to tell, and I imagine they still do, about the fact that one day they didn't have a moon, and the next day they did. Now I can't describe the devastation that would have caused, but I think that it might have been what melted the water from the Younger Dryas. It might have been what threw us into the Younger Dryas. And you could look those up or ask for comment, and I'll be a little more forthcoming with that info. My time is just about up. So, like I said, it's social Woodstock. You know, put down in the comments, hey, why is the old lady still at the bar? But like, share, ring the bell. We're close, guys. You know, I love and appreciate all of you, all of you. Without this, I would have already stopped the channel. I don't know when they would. I can just tell you, I appreciate you. I'm sorry, I'm a little behind. And if you want to find me, you could, like I said, share or even tell someone how to find me. I did that at my hairdresser, so I hope that all those people I didn't know are on and hitting that like button. A lot of people don't do the subscribe. A lot will watch and not hit the like button and not remember to do it. And I've done that. And then I've had to go back in and at least do a like. So once again, I'm going to have to ask you guys to throw some support my way. Can't do it without you. We do have a way to make a social Woodstock. Woodstock. That's an important word. It tells you everything in a nutshell. You can ask or for anything and everything. And that's an awesome thing. It really is. But I do have to dash now. So please, please, please take care. Be kind. And love one another. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. As they said, I'll be here all week. Toodles. Yeah.